welcome back to the Davis at Home. We are super excited to be here. If you are new to this channel, we are a family that have been documenting our new construction. The past few videos, we have been sharing some home updates and home decor and whatnot, but in this video, we are going to share some tips to know when you are closing and then tips after closing as well. So I've got my cameraman here who basically, if you are like me, I don't do a lot of research, but he does. So we learned a few tricks from building our first home about 5 years ago, and now we have summarized things that we learned along the way from our first home as well as this home, and we are here to share it with you. If you are new to this channel, please be sure to subscribe to this channel, share this video to friends and family that are in this new construction home building process, as well as friends that are trying to buy a home. So stay tuned, we are getting right to the video. Tip number one is that you make sure you are not late for your closing.
Yes. So what you need to do is make sure that you verify the address and the time of for your closing. So usually your lender is going to send you an email or something, and they will say, you know, here is the time, here is the address of where you need to go on closing day. Put it in Google Maps or whatever map software that you use. Check how long it's going to take for you to get there.
In Ashley's case, he drove there a couple of times before we closed.
Because if you're late, they're not going to wait for you, right? So you're not going to close. They will probably reschedule your closing date, right? Because a lot of them with the title office or attorney's office or wherever it is, they schedule them like back to back. So, you know, you can't be on, like, you know, we will say Jamaican time, or you guys say African time. So you can't be on that time. You have to be on time.
Yeah.
So tip number 2 is that make sure you know the exact payment method that's required for you to provide your closing funds. So I know there's certain laws where they do not require, will not accept like a personal check. So for our case, it was only a wire transfer that they would accept. Some of them, I think they accept like a cashier's check. So in a case of a wire transfer, I believe those usually take like 3 business days for those to process. You need to make sure, if it is a wire transfer, that you arrange that with your bank at least 3 business days before the closing date. Because again, like we said with tip number 1, these people, for them to have to wait on you, you are not going to close until they get the funds into their account. Until they see that money as touch, you're not gonna close. So you're gonna be sitting there twiddling your thumbs, waiting anxiously for them to get the funds so that now you can start signing the paperwork. So just make sure you do it in advance. Arrange for that wire transfer 3 business days before closing.
Tip number 3, make sure that you transfer your utilities out of your name in your old home, wherever you were staying before moving into the new home. Make sure you transfer your utilities out of your name from there, and then make sure you transfer utilities into your name in your new home after closing.
Yeah, because obviously, you know, you don't want to get any interruption with your service with utilities like electricity and gas. I know some builders with new construction, they give you like a grace period where they may say 3 days or a week or something like that. But for us, our advice would be just transfer into your name on the closing date. So we contacted the electricity company and said, okay, this is the date we want it transferred into our name, so that there was no risk of, you know, us forgetting with the whole hustle and bustle of moving into the house and that we forget to set this up. All right, now tip number 4 is no large purchases using a credit card or opening a new account, new line of credit or anything like that. Now, that would seem like a no-brainer. Like that's like an unwritten rule. But, you will be surprised that people will think that, a week before closing or at the time where they've locked in their rate, they think, okay, the rate's been locked in, we're in the clear. They're not going to check our credit again. Some lenders will run your credit. They will do a soft pull on your credit as late as the day before closing, because they want to make sure that have these people opened up a new line of credit, a new account, or made a large purchase. So if that happens, guess what? They're going to have to reevaluate and see, can these people still afford the home? And you may possibly, may fall through. And we actually had that kind of experience where it benefited us because with our previous home that we was building, through the process of picking our options and going to pick out our lot, they actually told us that they have a lot available, which was a premium lot. That I think it would have, I can't remember how much it was. Like it was very expensive, but they had already broke ground on it, and they basically told us they will give it to us for free. And the reason why is because the husband thought it was a great idea that once he got approved, he's going to go celebrate by buying himself a boat. And he put it on credit. So then when they reevaluated, they seen that, oh, now they have this big purchase, they have this big monthly payment that they have to pay. They no longer can afford the home. So it's very, very, very important. Do not, if you're going to make the big purchase, do it cash. Don't take out credit or nothing like that.
If you don't have cash, wait till after closing.
Wait till after closing.
All right, the next one, which is me, tip number 5 is make sure you do not forget to do the forwarding address. So I had this issue with the whole apartment I sent something to someone and it was returned, and obviously it was returned to the old address. I was supposed to do the forwarding address earlier, but I delayed a little bit. If you know me, you know that I tend to delay everything. So yeah, that's what happened. So make sure you do the forwarding address, I think a week ahead of time, to make sure that everything is set and you don't have any mail being delivered to your old address.
Yeah, it takes like with the USPS, you do it through them, and it takes like 7 business days.
Yeah. Now we're gonna move on to after closing tips. This is when you have your keys. So after closing tips, tip number 1.
So that will be to make sure that you secure your closing documents, like your closing pack. So now you've closed, they've given you this thick, pack of paperwork with all kind of stuff in there, all the documents that you signed and everything. You need to make sure that you keep those secure. Those documents are going to be very important, especially for stuff like in our situation. We're in our community, the USPS Postal Service decided that they wanted it to have these cluster mailboxes or something. So in order for us to get the keys for this cluster mailbox to get our mail, we had to show them like certain paperwork from our closing documents to prove that the address, was ours. We had to go to the local, I think the main USPS place.
You went, I didn't go.
Yeah, that services our area. And then I had to show them those documents, and then they gave us the keys. So if you do have a neighborhood where you have those cluster boxes and you didn't know that's what you had to do, that's what you have to do. Because I didn't know. I had to call different people, the construction company, and they kind of wasn't really sure about what to do. So in case you didn't know, now you do. Tip number 2 is find out what your lender's intentions are with your loan. The reason why is because some lenders, they will sell the servicing of your loan. It's not an uncommon thing. A lot of the time, they don't have the manpower to actually service loads of mortgage loans and, deal with customer service, accept payments and all that stuff. So they will start with the initial setup of the mortgage and sell it to like the big banks or, like our previous mortgage with Penny Mac. They'll sell it to like companies like them. It's not an uncommon thing. All the terms of the mortgage that you originally agreed to will all be the same. But it's important that you know the intentions, because one thing that you will see after closing is you are going to get a lot of mail coming in, and it's going to look like official mail. It's going to have like, show the name, the name of the mortgage company that you have taken this mortgage out with, and say like important information requested from you and stuff like that. These are all scams, because once you close on your home and you purchase a home, that becomes a public record. So, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can go and find that information online, and they can draft a letter and send it to you. So if you know the intentions of your lender up front, they might be able to even tell you that, yeah, we're planning to sell it to this company. So, if you receive a letter from them, then you know that it should be legit.
Yeah. And we didn't know this with our old home. When we had no idea what was happening with our old one. I don't even know what we did, but we later got letters, and then we had to try to figure it out. So just make sure that you ask. And this time we asked, well, he asked, but we asked what their intentions were, and they gave us a list of people possible companies that they were going to sell it. And they were upfront and did tell us that they were going to sell it, but they gave us a list of companies that they were going to sell it to, so that we were aware of what we were getting ourselves into.
And there's like there's a period where I think it's like, your first mortgage payment is not due for like 45 days or something like that after closing. So they have to sell it like within that period of time, I believe. So, we did eventually, your mortgage company should send you an email or a letter to say like, hey, we have sold your loan to this company. Do not send your first payment to us. You need to send it to them. And then you should receive an official letter from that new mortgage company. But again, if you do receive all these scam letters and stuff and you're not sure, call your mortgage company and check with them.
Tip number 3, purchase a dehumidifier. And I'll be honest, I don't even know what it is, so I'm just gonna let him talk about it. I don't know what that is.
So the dehumidifier, the reason why this one is important, especially with your new construction home, or even just a home that you're purchasing, is that you want to make sure that the humidity is low in your home, because if it gets above, I believe, 60%, that's where mold can begin to grow. And you don't want that smoke. Like, you don't want to have to deal with mold growing in your home and stuff.
Yeah.
And all that money that it's going to cost you. So it's a good tip. Just purchase a dehumidifier. You can place it in the basement, like in the unfinished part. You can look online to see what percentage you can keep that dehumidifier at. Me, for our old house and this current house, I keep it at like 45%. And then also purchase one of those like dehumidifier like sensor or reader things, and just stick it on your it's like a magnet, put it on your HVAC system. and then that will let you know like what the current humidity level is at, what the highest level was, what the lowest level is, and just so that you can kind of stay on top of it.
Tip number 4, make sure that you water your grass and you arrange for lawn care service. Now this one, with our first home, we were moving in, and I think it was the project manager or something that told us we needed to keep our grass watered and all that stuff. And we just went, we were scared. So as new first-time home buyers, we just kept watering the grass, and we got a big bill, y'all. Like, it was like $700. And we felt like, what in the world are we gonna be, having all this? And we had that, like, it kept dropping down. It went to like 400 the next month and all that stuff. But you need to keep that grass watered. Just be prepared for that, because you don't want to be that homeowners that come into the neighborhood and just have the horrible grass and the weeds and all that stuff.
Yeah, they will talk about you on that next door app. Like, they'll put out all these metaphors and subliminal messages and stuff.
There goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, especially if you're moving to suburbs or wherever, and you feel like you're stepping up, upgrading and stuff. You don't want to be that family that has the grass with all the brown patches, because with the new construction homes especially, they may just lay seed in the front and seed in the back, or they may put sod down there. You need to make sure you water it. And then I would also suggest arrange for lawn care services. If you're like me, where you're not interested in doing any garden work or anything like that, just get the lawn care people. They will come and put the fertilizer, all that stuff on there. They will seed it if it needs to be seeded, and then just make sure you water it. So put money aside for that high water bill.
Yeah, put money
Maybe
aside.
it won't be as high as $700, because that was excessive, but I don't know, 200, 300 or something.
Yeah. We were lucky this time that it was like fall-ish, so we didn't get that big of a bill this time, but just keep that in mind.
So tip number 5 is register all your appliances and familiarize yourself with the builder's warranty. So this is, with new construction home, or even if you're buying a new home, because sometimes I think the sellers can purchase like a warranty for you or something like that, or you as a buyer can purchase a warranty. I can't remember, but register the appliances. So the cooktop, the oven, stove, windows, everything that can be registered, register it. It's important, because for us, we had an issue where in our old house, we were selling it. We didn't register nothing. We just moved in. We were happy that we purchased this house. We built this house, moved in, didn't register nothing. So when it came to selling the house, they did an inspection, and they found that one of the windows, the thermal seal, was broke, and that they wanted us to replace it. Now, this would have been an out-of-pocket expense for us, but then that's when our realtor said, "Oh, you should have a warranty on your windows." And we said, "Oh yeah, warranty, that we're good." We read through the book, and it said 20-year warranty on the windows. So we said, all right, we're good. They can just claim that and done. Then we remembered that we didn't register nothing. So now that warranty is void, because this is now 5 years later. But fortunately, by the grace of God, that I went online and was able to register, and I backdated it 5 years back. So the registration went through, and then because of COVID, the window company said that there are, severe delays where they cannot get anyone to come out and check the windows or anything until September. And at this time, it was like, what, December?
Yeah, it was December.
So fortunately, the buyers accepted that. We gave them a number and we went on our way. Now, we don't know if the warranty people came back and said, hey, this registration is void or what? We don't know.
We are gone.
But all we know is that, we registered.
Yeah.
And we did it, we backdated it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We have a few bonus tips for you. This may not necessarily apply if you are building a new construction home. It may apply to you if you are buying a new home. If you are buying a new home, make sure you change the locks. You don't want to give the old owners access to your new home. This is going to be your sanctuary. So you don't want to give access to maybe an old cleaner or whatever to have access to your home. So
yeah, because some people have attachment issues. And I'm not going to lie. There's been several times that I've wanted to drive to our old house.
He does.
And just go and look to see what they're doing. But I had to stop myself. So, change the locks.
Yeah.
For new construction home, that's something that they will do. Like the builders do usually, they change the lock. They have those like smart key type thing that they stick in to change it. But for if you're just buying a new home, change all the locks, change all the door codes for the garage doors and all that stuff. And then do a deep clean on the house, especially if it's a home that you're buying, existing home. For new construction homes, usually they have cleaning companies that come in so that they can give you like a brand new, home and everything. So it's not necessarily you need to do a deep clean, but at least, you need to clean it just to make sure. But make sure you clean the place.
Yeah.
So we have a couple more bonus tips. So one of them is to do with the HVAC system. So especially if you're with a new construction home, once you move in, there's still gonna be a lot of dust circulating around the air. So your air filters are gonna get dirty like quickly. Like, most air filters, I think it's like 3 months they last or something. They may just last like maybe 1 month or something because all the dust that's still circulating, because this is a brand new construction where they've been working. So for us, we have these air filters which they're supposed to last 12 months. We haven't even been in this home for a month yet, and already I've had to change them. So the tip is purchase at least 3 air filters after you close, and then just come down like maybe every 2 weeks, open up the air filter compartment, check it, see if it looks like it's filled up with dust and everything, because if there's too much dust buildup on the air filter, it's going to start affecting your HVAC system and it will break down, and you don't want that. So the next tip is to do with the sump pump. So
which one is the sump pump?
This right here, the sump pump. So this is the pump that's in charge of pumping water away from your home. Now, the ultimate tip is purchase a battery backup pump, because if this thing stops working, that means that water is not being pumped away from your home, and then it will just start to build up inside this like bucket thing. Water will start pouring out, and then your basement is flooded. So that was one of my biggest fears, that we have a basement flooded, because we've had, we know several people that their basement's flooded, even in a new construction home. A couple of my colleagues recently, their basement flooded. So something that we did from our old home is, yes, we need to buy a battery backup. We haven't got around to doing that yet. But as a secondary help or protection, we actually purchased a night light. This was like, a couple of dollars or something. And because this is connected to a GFCI switch, so if it goes out, it will just shut off the whole thing, and then this night light's going to go off. So this is like a visual indicator that there is something going on where the sump pump is not on. If say there's bad weather or something like that, the power shuts off, If you come down here and check and you see that that night light is off, then you know that that means your sump pump is not working, it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So that brings it to your attention right away. But again, yes, we need to buy the battery back.
Yeah, we'll buy it.
Yeah.
All right.
And just to quickly show, this is what we were talking about with the dehumidifier. So what we bought is the Frigidaire, however it's supposed to be pronounced.
Frigid. Never mind. Frigidaire.
We got a 50-pint one, which I think is a good, decent size. You know, we just leave it on the whole time. And if you see here, we have the tube going down over to the floor drain over there. But again, as I mentioned, if you want, you can also direct it over to the sump pump hole, which is over here, and then drain out over there.
Feels good. The humidifier. The air feels good.
And this is what I was talking about, where I said to purchase one of these that you can, it's a magnet, and you just leave it here on the HVAC system, and you can know what the humidity level is in your home.
So we hope these tips were helpful. By no means are we saying this is the complete list. We just felt that we had to share which ones were important to us that we felt like people needed to know. So please, we know you're watching. Be sure to subscribe and share this video with your friends and family that are building a new construction home or buying a new home, and we will catch you next time. Our closets have been done and they look wonderful. So next week, I'm hopeful that we can share with you all a closet update, and among a few updates, Ash and I have not been able to agree on most things. So yeah, it will be very interesting with this home decor stuff. So catch you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.